Buried beneath golden sands and forgotten temples lies a secret, a science born before Hippocrates, where priests were doctors and magic met medicine. This is the world of ancient Egyptian healing. Thousands of years before modern hospitals, the ancient Egyptians built a healing tradition that would shape medicine for millennia. Their doctors, known as SWNW, weren't just treating wounds, they were blending science with spirit. Observation, trial and error, and deep reverence for the gods created a unique system of care. They turned to nature, garlic for heart disease, honey for infection, willow bark for pain. These weren't guesses. They saw what worked and recorded it meticulously, and when they treated the body, they knew the body. Egyptian embalmers, in preparing the dead, learned more about anatomy than any culture before them. They understood the importance of the heart, the liver, and even recognized the brain, though they weren't sure what it did yet. But knowledge alone wasn't enough. They needed to understand what made people sick. What happens when the gods are angry, or when disease strikes without warning. When illness came, Egyptian healers used every tool at their disposal. They listened to the pulse, examined urine, and studied skin color and behavior. Diagnosis was both scientific and spiritual. A headache might mean dehydration or a curse. Their treatments? Stunning in range. Herbal remedies were common, from pomegranate for parasites to castor oil for digestion. But they didn't stop there. They used incantations, spells, and rituals. The lines between magic and medicine blurred. A cough could be soothed with honey, and a prayer to the god Thoth. The Ebers Papyrus, written around 1550 BCE, is one of the oldest medical texts in the world. It holds over 700 remedies, some practical, some mystical, and buried in its lines are clues of surgical genius. But what happened when herbs and prayers weren't enough? The Egyptians were not afraid to cut. Their surgeons could reset broken bones, stitch wounds, and even perform trepanation, cutting into the skull to relieve pressure or pain. Their tools, made from bronze and obsidian, were incredibly sharp, some nearly as fine as modern scalpels. Some believe they even attempted cataract surgery, inserting fine instruments into the eye to remove cloudy lenses. Their approach was clinical, but always spiritual. To them, illness wasn't just a physical ailment, it was a spiritual imbalance. Healers were often priests, trained in both medicine and ritual. They used amulets to ward off evil and invoked deities like Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess of plague and healing. Medicine wasn't about choosing between science and belief, it was about using both. Because in the shadow of the pyramids, every cure carried the weight of the divine. Their wisdom didn't die with the pharaohs. Greek physicians like Hippocrates and Galen studied Egyptian texts. Roman medicine borrowed their tools. And even today, we find echoes of their brilliance in holistic healing, in surgery, in herbal medicine. So the next time you reach for a herbal tea or wear a lucky charm, remember, you're touching the legacy of a civilization that believed healing was both an art and a miracle. If this glimpse into ancient healing fascinated you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. There's more forgotten history waiting to be uncovered.